It's the 21st of April 2023 and Dead Island 2 finally released. Even though hearing nothing after those years, the community was still eager to play this game. But the waiting didn't really pay off. But hold up. Let's go way back to where it all started for Dead Island 2. 6th September 2011 and the first entrance to Dead Island released. From the devs Techland, Dead Island 1 was a generic zombie open world game that only focuses on first person perspective and on its combat. Oh, and if y'all don't know Techland before Dead Island didn't really have a big reputation. They didn't make that successful games. But after Dead Island they made Dying Light, the two Dying Light games, and also Call of Euros. If somebody knows that game, it's like a gunslinger first person game. Nobody knows it anymore, but
yes! Bazinga! Where's everyone going? Bingo?
I got some jelly beans. You like jelly beans?
even though Dead Island really didn't age well, it was a pretty big game back then and people really liked it. I mean, for me, it didn't really was a special game that was like, wow, huge success. I mean, I played it after the Dying Light, the first Dying Light game, and after other zombie games out there, and I think it's not really a big game, it's nothing special to offer. And yes, Dying Light, the both games are better than the Dead Island games. I must say this, it's just a bigger upgrade. Yeah. So after the success of Dead Island 1, 3 years later a new trailer to Dead Island 2 released. And I think this trailer must be one of the most legendary trailers out there and of the most well known. I mean, you can't tell me you never saw this trailer. I mean, trailer was for its time pretty big, and the views on this video, on this huge trailer, was so massive. People were really hyped for this game, and the hype got way bigger when the community heard that the game now is gonna release after those 9 years.
It has no right being this catchy, okay? And the visuals make it that much harder to listen to.
And I think that's the problem. The community thinks the game took 9 years to make, and they now think, wow, this game is gonna be hella big, this game is gonna be amazing, it's gonna be a big upgrade to the first game. I mean, when you bring out a trailer in 2013 and then never post anything, people think this game is now dead. And then getting a new trailer out of nowhere that this game is gonna finally release. I mean, if you like the first one, people think you're gonna love the second one because it took 9 years. But the outcome of the second game was quite disappointing. It's the 21st of April 2023 and Dead Island 2 finally released. At the start of the game we get an intro cutscene and it looks like an evacuation scene. I mean, there are many people in a column and there is the whole army prepared with a plane to get out of this place. And we already meet some characters we later then can play, because there are around 6 characters you can choose from to play. I mean, one of them you can play, you can't play all 6 of them. You needed co-op for this. And it's already chaos going on, like we know it from the first game. It doesn't take itself so seriously. It's most of a, let's just say, comedy zombie game. So they finally ready to get into the plane, and as they get into the plane a whole earthquake happens and they need to let some of the other people that also get evacuated back. As the plane is finally in the sky, we see 2 characters that sneaked onto the plane. Bro thinks he's Nathan Drake. Everybody happy on the plane. Moments later, a zombie also is on the plane. Of course there has to be a zombie on the plane, something has to happen. The plane is in completely chaos and it starts to burn. So we then get a plane crash scene and also see an old character from the first game, Sam B, I don't know why he is in the game. If I don't know anything, I was not a fan of the first one. I completely forgot the story, so I'm sorry. I don't know why they got him back into the second game, and I didn't care that he was back. As the plane crash scene happens, we get a transition to the character select option. The first character we get introduced is Jacob. Jacob has innate skills, that means feral. Jacob gets stackable minor damage boosts when attacking in quick successions. And also critical gains. Jacob critical hits when stamina is low get a moderated critical damage boost and regain stamina. The next character we get introduced is Bruno, that looks like a little pump 2017 web era. And his innate skills are backstab. Bruno gets a moderate damage boost when... Why am I even listening? These stupid skills, they don't really affect even much. I don't know why they're here for. The next character is Carla. The next is Danny. Why the hell is she looking at me like that? Then we have Amy, and the last character is Ryan. So you see all of them different characters have different skills or attribute, and also later in the game they maybe have different skills you can unlock for each character. But if you think there's a 6-time replayability with every character, it doesn't change everything. The story stays the same, the story doesn't change a bit, it's just the same. It doesn't care who you pick. The character wakes up in the plane, finds some medis, bandages, and then gets out of the plane. And after that, there is a lot of walking till you get to your first enemy. It's like a Death Stranding section. Like whole ass intro. Later then he finds some survivors. 3 of them just run away and 1 of them is locked under a pipe. Then you fight off some zombies, many of them. They have your first kills and first learn how the weapons work in this game. And I really must say it's just stiff as the first one. I mean, when I compare it to a Dying Light, I mean, Dying Light had many assets, but Dying Light is a whole different game. Like you have parkour and something like that. But also when you're just in Dying Light, you just can't stand there and do the same melee attacks. You gotta dodge, you gotta jump over him, you do some tactics like the parkour and then attack them, or have some kicks and something you can later unlock to the skill tree. Like you can spam stupid, you can just spam onto the enemies and then dodge it somehow. And I still think Dead Island is downgraded gameplay combat game of Dying Light. So Ryan defeats them, then wants to help the other guy that was under that pipe. Then he gets bit from another person. The guy under the pipe, he freed then, and he also turns into a zombie. So Ryan got bit, and after he just turns into a zombie. So it didn't care who you pick. Your main character you pick for the intro is gonna die, like a test object. So it just doesn't make any sense. Wait, before anybody clicks off this video, I was just joking. You wake up, you still play as your character you picked. Nothing wrong, I was just joking. Ryan then wakes up in front of a big villa, and as said, the game plays in LA. Like the intro showed, people wanted to escape from LA. The plane crashed and now you are still in LA. Like, I don't want to know how much they paid for a ticket. I'm not gonna go more into detail about the story. The story really wasn't a banger. It was okay. There are multiple endings out there. You can just test them out yourself. But I wasn't sitting there on my chair and was like, damn, I finished the one ending. I completely want to finish the other ending. Like, I wasn't eager into this story. It was like more listening to Spotify on my PS and playing this game in the background. I needed to listen to music because your main character doesn't want to shut up.
You don't learn, do you, Chuckles?
I mean, most of us know from the first game there was comedy. There was sort of comedy, but there wasn't too much, and they didn't do too much with the comedy about this game. This game was just full of this. I thought every dialogue section you had in this game, there was comedy in it. Like, of course they're in a zombie apocalypse and it is like a comedy zombie apocalypse game. They want to be funny, but at some parts it was too much comedy, really. And it wasn't really fun. It was like a Saints Row reboot. They tried to be funny at sometimes, but it really wasn't. Or Dead Rising 4 comedy. It was too much and they tried to be funny. I must say, I like the weapons. Like there was some Dying Light kind of weapons, melee combat weapons. I like this, and with the mods on the weapons, I really liked the design and everything you could do. There was pretty cool. And look, the first game didn't had really an open world. It was roaming around in a different region, different part, but it wasn't open world. But come on, in the second game the regions and the sandbox was fully small. There was not one challenging scrap or mods that you couldn't find, that you needed to do something. So I fully understand the people that hated on the open world aspect. Like the first one didn't have the open world, and the second one didn't have the open world also, but it was just a downgrade in the open world aspect. Like there also was loading screens, like not Starfield, Bethesda loading screens, but it's still kind of sad to have in these regions these kind of loading screens. I mean, when the game is so small, then make it like difficult to get to a mission or something like that, that you will find yourself and not be guided the whole time when it's like this small. That's just my aspect. Some people don't feel it, but when it's so small, then make it like, make some aspects of the gameplay or the guidance a little bit more difficult. Like, and also not having a real difficulty in this game. And also the animations when you attack a zombie, it's kind of stiff, and it's difficult. Some of them are really easy and some of them are just so hard you can't get rid of them if you want to explore anything. I mean, when you figure out there is nothing to explore, you're just gonna fight against these stupid zombies, and it's kind of stiff and it isn't really that enjoyable. Trust me, if you now see this video and you want to play this game, don't spend your time on doing the side quests, because I'm a big fan of doing side quests to really do everything in a game. And I thought they may be good, but I did 2 or 3 and I didn't really like them, so I was at the point where I just wanted to speedrun through the story and just want to complete it. I'm just disappointed that the second game is like really a downgrade to the first game. But this game is not horrible. I don't really hate it. I mean, there are some aspects that I really like New York. Oh my god. I didn't just fucking say New York. I mean, LA never looked better like in this game. I've never been to New York, but I played GTA 5 zombie mod on PC, okay? Graphics also were really good. The colors, the lighting and everything, it looks really beautiful. But it's just sad. I mean, there are people out there that really love the second game, and there are people out there that really hated the second game. And I'm gonna say I didn't really hate it. It was just bad, because the first one was bad and this second game was more bad than the first one, if you understand me. And I just feel the people that anticipated so much from a sequel of the game, because it took 9 years. The game came out after 9 years. Then the people think, yeah, there was so much work behind it that it took so long. Like, look at the GTA 6. GTA 6 is now coming out after like 11 to 12 years. And people are really anticipated for GTA 6 and really have so much high hopes. If GTA 6 fails and is not good, that's gonna be horrible for Rockstar. What am I even saying? Horrible for Rockstar. They dropped a lot of bangers and they have money. Like, what am I even saying? So when a game takes so long, this game must be a whole lot of upgrade to the other games. There must be so much new things we never had in the other games. It wasn't there for Dead Island 2. Dead Island 2 had like the same mechanics or even less things like the first game. So safe to say now for this end, I didn't like both games. Give us a Dying Light 3, okay?